How's it going, everyone? Wayne the Unknown here, and welcome to another episode of Cosplay Con Talk, where we basically discuss everything pertaining to the cosplay community and conventions. Tonight, I'm joined here by Bird Nerd Kale Cosplay for another segment on Get to Know That Cosplayer. I pronounced your handle right, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, alright, just making sure. Um, so firstly, what made you come up with the name Bird Nerd Kale?
Oh gosh, I kind of just came up with it on the spot. I panicked, like most people do when they're trying to think up of a name. And I like birds. I I'm kind of a nerd, and Kale is super similar to my name without being my actual name, so I just went with that.
That, that always, usually works. I can't argue with that. Um,
Yeah.
so to begin, how long have you been cosplaying for, Kale?
Uh, the first cosplay I ever did was in 2009, but I took a 5-year break while I was in college because I didn't have enough time or budget or self-esteem to cosplay. But
So you've been cosplaying for like at least a good 12 years.
yeah.
So that's a really long time.
Yeah.
What was your very first cosplay?
So the first cosplay I wore in 2009, I borrowed my friend Kikyo cosplay from Inuyasha.
Nice.
And at the time, I'd never seen Inuyasha. I knew nothing about the character. I just needed a cosplay to wear to my convention. And the first cosplay that I put together myself was Toon Link, which was a year later.
From how was the name of the Legend of Zelda game? Wind Waker.
Yeah.
Nice. Um, what was that like putting that all together?
Oh my gosh. So I didn't know how to use a sewing machine. I was around 14 or 15 years old and I didn't have a job, so my budget was about $15. And I kind of just grabbed some fabric out of the discount bin and I basically made a pillowcase. I didn't have a wig. I didn't have a belt. And for the undershirt, I borrowed one of my mom's shirts and just never gave it back. And I didn't even have brown boots. I used black boots. And so you can imagine it was kind of poorly put together, but
E-
I was ecstatic nonetheless.
I mean, you've got to start somewhere, especially when it comes to making your very first cosplay.
Yeah, and I remember this and very vividly because I still laugh about it with my friends. We had a sleepover and we pulled an all-nighter trying to put our Smash Bros cosplays
Oh
together. So I
no!
was Toon Link and one of my friends was Marth and another friend was Pit, and we were so excited the next day that we put on our cosplays and just went through a walk through the neighborhood, and some guy driving saw us and he pointed and laughed at us as he was driving by.
At least you guys enjoyed it, right? I mean, like you said, you basically pulled an all-nighter to get your Smash Bros. Uh,
Yeah,
characters done.
we were so excited, regardless of how poor we looked.
I mean, it. I mean, from what other people have told me, it really doesn't matter on your skill as long as you enjoyed it and you put in the work for it. It's definitely worth it in the end.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was your very first convention, and in what year was that in?
Oh my gosh, that was KomoriCon in 2009. That was before I had a cell phone, so it was a little scary with my parents dropping me off at the convention with one of my friends,
Oh,
and I barely knew cosplay, but I was so excited. I had never been in an environment like that, and even though the convention was mostly standing in line, I was having a grand old time. Um, I did have my first unfortunate encounter though. When I was cosplaying Kikyo, some guy asked me if I was Kikyo, and I said yes. And he grabbed me and asked me to marry him, and I was really young and I was
Oh
so
my.
scared, but
Hopefully he reported it.
I didn't know any better, so I had just my friend help me in that situation.
Which is good that you had your friend with you.
Yeah, I don't know what I would have done if I was by myself.
I'm sure that's something you would highly recommend, though, is if you're going to your first con, always bring a friend.
Oh, absolutely.
Have your,
And it's easier now.
oh, that's good. At least, like I said, you had your friend with you, and, you know, at least it didn't, like, get worse.
Yeah, and fortunately I kind of just brushed it off, and I don't know why I wasn't scared, but maybe it was just the adrenaline of being at my very first convention that kept me going.
That's good.
But nowadays, I would have slapped the guy or something.
I mean, I can't, I can't say doing that's a bad thing because with anyone's reaction now, it's like, yeah, that's that's totally understandable and valid to do. Uh, aside from that, what was it? What was like? What was KomoriCon like back then in 2009?
Oh my gosh. So that was back at the Hilton in downtown Portland. It really wasn't the best venue for a convention of that size. I know it was I think it was only 1 or 2,000 people, but
Still quite a bit of people.
um you had to wait in line to get into any of the rooms. Um Typically you had to wait in line to get into the vendors hall, which was super small. Um and there weren't a whole lot of food options in the area on foot, as I remember. Um but it was completely different to what it is now, but it still had the I lost my train of thought. It still had
It's okay.
the
You're fine.
it still had the vibes of like a bigger convention, but it was a lot of waiting in line.
I imagine your feet were hurting afterwards.
Uh, at the time, I only wore tennis shoes as for my cosplay shoes, so I was actually fine.
That's good. Now, you've cosplayed a wide variety of characters, like from One Piece, Fire Emblem, Pokemon, and a few others. What would you say your favorite cosplay is that you have ever done?
Oh my gosh. I think out of all the cosplays, my favorite one was my Marin cosplay from Link's Awakening because that was the first cosplay that I 100% made on my own, and I'm just so proud of how it turned out.
Now, she's the one with the blue dress with the pink, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Mind sharing a little bit about that on how, like the process on how you made her?
So, for most of my sewing projects, I had never used patterns. I kind of just draped it and kind of just winged it. But for this one, I actually bought a pattern and I went through the whole process of measuring myself and trying to make the inside of the cosplay look good as well as the outside. And I had planned this one for a convention down in Medford, but I couldn't finish it in time, so I postponed it for another convention. And I am so thankful that I did that because I just wouldn't have had a product that I was happy with in the if I had rushed it in the end.
How long how long did it take you altogether to get everything just right?
I think I think it took me about 4 months working on it, mostly on the weekends. I have a full-time job that I typically do overtime at, so I just don't have as much time in the weekdays.
Gotcha. But I'm sure it was worth it in the end. Did you get recognized at all when you brought Marin to the con for her?
Yeah. I I don't really I didn't really expect much people to recognize me, but two people recognized me at the first convention I wore her at, and another two people at the second convention that I wore her at.
Nice. Have you entered any cosplay competitions with any of your cosplays?
Actually, the Marin cosplay I entered at UwajiCon
Oh
the
what?
first time
Oh
I wore
wait,
her.
wait. A what con?
UwajiCon.
I have never heard of that.
It's it's in Beaverton. It's at a store called Uwaji Maya, and the store puts it on as kind of just a promotional thing where there are some vendors. There's a I think a dancing competition and then a cosplay competition. But
Nice.
that year was the first time I'd ever been to it. I had never heard of it before either.
It just sounds like a knockoff Nintendo character. I'm just saying the name just sounds like it just sounds like a knockoff Mario character. No offense.
Yeah,
So
when I
no offense to a Wajicon. It just the name.
yeah, when I went to it, I wasn't really expecting much cuz it was just in the parking lot of the store, but it was pretty fun.
Nice. And on the topic of small cons, what was your thought when Medford had gotten Metal Arc Comic Con?
I I was so surprised. I had never imagined Medford to start getting conventions like it did. And at the first Meadowlark Comic Con, I actually vended with one of my friends, and we cosplayed just as Espeon and Eevee from stuff that we had from our closets.
Nice. Uh,
And what?
I said nice. Sorry.
Yeah,
Mind giving that friend a shout out too for the vendor booth you guys did?
yeah. So one of the friends is Echo Chips, and she's also on Instagram. And then the other friend that vends with us sometimes is Mo Maple, also on Instagram.
Nice. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Echo Chips also has done a Inuyasha cosplay as Shippo, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just like the name sounded familiar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Nice.
the three of us have all been best friends since middle school.
Yeah. Shout out to Mo Maple and Echo Chips.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What would you say your least favorite cosplay is that you ever done? Like it's one that you've just done once and you would like you're like it was like kind of a one and done kind of thing.
So I have a couple of them. One of them was my Diva cosplay from Overwatch, and that's a cosplay that I was trying to get it all finished the morning of the convention I was wearing it at. And just the stress of trying to finish something when it's just not going to be good. I am not proud of that one. It looked cool in the picture, but I definitely needed another month with that one at least.
Nice. And
And then another cosplay. What?
oh, sorry about that. Go ahead.
Another cosplay that I hate wearing is my Hilda cosplay from Fire Emblem. And I know I've worn her twice, but I hate the fabric that I used, and it's just put together poorly because I did it in a just one weekend, and you can tell by the seams and the fit that it's just sloppy.
Now, Hilda, she's the one with the long, darkish blue hair, right? That wields the sword.
Um, she has the pink pigtails.
Mind you, I'm not familiar with Fire Emblem at all. I just know two of the
Yeah,
main characters were in Super Smash.
yeah. This one, she wasn't in Smash Bros. Um, she was in Three Houses, the one that just came out for Switch,
Okay, I'm looking at her.
and
I'm looking at her right now. Has an axe. Okay, has very long.
yeah,
Has like tall boots. Holy crap!
yeah.
Whew.
So I have a couple pictures of in that cosplay that I really, really like, but the cosplay itself I don't enjoy wearing,
I
and
mean,
I'm gonna redo it someday. But
it looked uncomfortable.
yeah, it is.
So, what was it like working at a booth with your friend for Metal Arc?
Um, that was our first time vending, and I really didn't know what to expect. But we had spent several days trying to sew stuff to sell at the convention, and it just felt really good to know that people enjoyed what we made.
Nice.
And we vended at other conventions like Medford Comic Con and Anna Medford, and then there was KomoriCon Light when that was still a thing.
What is Komori-Con Light? I've heard of it before, but I've like never really heard more about it than just what the con is called.
I've been to it twice. It's a super small convention. They used to hold it every other summer around July or August, and there was a small artist alley, and there were a couple panels like Anime Jeopardy. I think there was a cosplay contest, but it just takes course over about 8 hours, and it costs only $20 to get in.
That's not bad though.
Yeah, it was really fun.
What made them stop posting Komori-Con Light?
Um, so I think they only hosted it on even years, and inevitably it had to be canceled last summer,
Because of
but I'm not
COVID.
sure if they're ever going to bring it back.
But it sounds like you enjoyed that con too.
I really did.
Nice.
So if it ever comes back, I am definitely going.
Nice. I will have to eventually check that out myself. Now, do you have any cosplays that you would eventually like to do once COVID is over and people can go back to cons?
Absolutely. I have a couple that are kind of in the works. I have Nico Robin from One Piece that I started working on and never finished.
Nico Robin, who is she?
She's the gal, she's got black hair, and she sprouts a bunch of arms, and
Oh, didn't you like do like a cosplay test of her recently on your Instagram?
I did. I just bought a wig for her, but I've always wanted to wear her Miss All Sunday outfit.
Her Miss Sunday all outfit. Okay, I'm kind of curious. Haven't seen One Piece in years, and I'm far behind on that anime.
Mm-hmm.
Now you
So,
go ahead. Sorry again.
what?
Didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry, got ahead of
Oh, no,
myself.
it's no problem. Um, her All Sunday outfit is, I think she appears like episode 100 or something. She's in the desert and she's wearing a cowboy hat and it cool white jacket.
Oh, I've heard of her now. Okay, I'm just looking it up. Ah, okay, now I know who she is. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh man,
so
yeah.
it's kind of my goal to cosplay every single One Piece character. And I know that's never gonna happen, but I can always dream.
No, it doesn't hurt to have those dream cosplays. Speaking of that topic, who else have you cosplayed as from One Piece?
I did a closet cosplay of Nami. I've done Sanji and I've done Chopper.
Nice. Uh,
And
very nice.
I th- I think I've done someone else, but I can't think of who it is off the top of my head.
What was it like cosplaying as the anthropomorphic deer Chomper?
Oh my gosh. So he was my first cosplay that I think looks good and still looks good to this day. He's my favorite character, and so just being this cute little reindeer, I was just excited, and it was the first time I'd ever worn makeup for a cosplay, and it was just putting blue eyeshadow on my nose to.
Yeah, I mean, he's like probably one of the, he's one of those characters you wouldn't expect to be what he does when he gets all big and buff and everything.
Yeah, he's got a special place in my heart.
What hat of his did you wear? Did you wear his red hat or the blue hat?
I wore the blue hat one.
Nice. Um, so is that another cosplay you made, or was that one like stuff you just had lying around?
So the hat that I made that, and I made the little hooves, and the shorts I had, there's just orange shorts back when brightly colored shorts were in fashion.
I don't think they ever went out
And
of fashion.
and the shirt, I bought a yellow tank top and sewed white stripes onto it. So
Nice.
overall it cost me about $20 to put together.
R Wow. So I gotta ask, because he has a big hat and horns. What did
Hmm.
you use to make the horns?
I used felt and I propped them up with wire and safety pins, and I just sewed them directly onto the hat.
Nice. I mean, imagine, like you said, that was a very fun cosplay.
Hmm.
Um, we got about 8 minutes to go. Real quick. Um, any experiences you'd like to share, for like either conventions or cosplay, like funny experiences, bad experiences, or stuff like that.
Um, I do have an experience, and it's kind of just like a personal thing. So back in 2018, I moved away from my two friends, Mo Maple and Echo Chips, and we we'd planned to go to KomoriCon that year, and Echo Chips had always wanted to cosplay Present Mike,
Who?
and she's Present Mike from My Hero Academia. He's
Uh,
got the really tall yellow hair. He looks like a banana.
oh, the thin-looking version of All Might.
Yeah. And so she said, I need an eraser head to go with me. And I said,
Oh,
Mo Maple can do that. I'm not gonna do anything. And the night before I moved away from them, I was hanging out with Echo Chips, and she said, Kale, you need to cosplay Miss Joke. And don't tell Mo Maple. It's gonna be a secret. And so I said, okay, I'll do it for the funnies. And so I moved up, and over the course of the month before KomoriCon, I secretly put together my Miss Joke cosplay, and I was at an Airbnb with Echo Chips and Maple, and I went into the bathroom to go change into Miss Joke, and Maple still didn't know that I was cosplaying her. And she was getting into her Eraserhead cosplay, and I burst into the room as Miss Joke, and the look on her face was just surprise and happiness.
Like, hi. I'm sure Mo Maple got a kick out of it, though, seeing you as Miss Joke from My Hero Academia.
Because her character doesn't like my character, and so just the fact that I was able to keep it a secret for a whole month and surprise her like that, it felt really good.
Well, that's good. We got about 5 minutes to go here. Any um any advice you like to give to first time cosplayers or first time con goers or those who are thinking about getting, you know, into making their own cosplays?
So I would say my biggest tip is to look at thrift stores and just get creative with what you can make, because a lot of my cosplays I've put together for under $20 just by just being creative and looking at the characters and saying, I can use this piece of clothing and alter it in this way to make this. Like my Miss Joke cosplay, I bought a green skirt and I altered it so that it was shorts with stripes on it. And I have a Hunter cosplay where I told myself I'm gonna find a navy blue blazer and some orange pants. And if I can find those two things, I'm gonna cosplay this character. Otherwise, I'll just forget it. But um, that's just a way you can start getting into cosplay and figure out if you enjoy doing that. And it doesn't require a lot of sewing skills.
Nice. That's always a good thing, and a lot of people who I've interviewed always highly recommend thrifting for your first time around, or even still nowadays too, just to save on time and money.
Yeah, I still do that, even though I have the resources. I just usually don't have the time to put together an entire outfit. And another tip I would give is to just not take it too seriously.
No,
It's
no,
it's,
no,
it's all
don't.
for fun. It's not a competition unless you're going into the cosplay competition. But you don't have to compare yourself to your friends or the models on Instagram who do that for a living.
Oh
It's just,
no. It again, it's for fun, like you said.
yeah.
Well, that's some really good advice, though, for sure.
Yeah. And my biggest tip for newbies at conventions: eat food and drink water.
Can't stress that enough.
Yeah, I was fine when I was a teenager, but in my old age, I need 8 hours of sleep, I need
Mm,
water, and I need 3 meals a day.
what is sleep? What is sleep? We don't need sleep. Again, Kale, thank you for coming on and sharing your cosplays and experience for Cosplay Contacts. Get to know that cosplayer.
Absolutely, I had a great time.
Again, I am Wayne the Unknown. Thank you all for listening to this episode, and until next time, thank you for watching.